Imagine you're running a bank, and your money is stored in two branches, one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. Both branches always show the same balance. Now, one afternoon, the phone line between them goes dead. Nobody can talk across the country. You walk into the West Coast branch and ask to withdraw $1,000. The teller faces a genuinely impossible choice. She can hand you the money right now, but she has no way to tell the East Coast branch, so for a few minutes the two branches disagree about your balance. Or, she can refuse to serve you until the line comes back, keeping the branches perfectly in sync but leaving you standing there, unable to get your own money. There is no third option that gives you both. That, in one story, is the CAP theorem. And today we're going to make it live in your head, because it quietly governs almost every large system you'll ever build. So here's our goal for the next few minutes. I want you to walk away able to say, out loud, what the three letters stand for, why you can only ever hold two of them during a failure, and how real engineers actually decide which one to sacrifice. Not the textbook chant. The intuition underneath it. Let's name the three letters. C is for consistency. That means every read sees the most recent write. Ask any node, anywhere, and you get the same, current answer. A is for availability. That means every request gets a response, a real one, not an error, not a hang. The system always answers. And P is for partition tolerance. A partition is exactly what happened to our bank, the network splits, and messages between nodes get lost or delayed. Partition tolerance means the system keeps functioning even when that happens. Now here's the heart of it, and this is the part people get wrong. CAP is often taught as pick two of three, as if consistency, availability, and partition tolerance were three equal items on a menu. That's misleading. In any real distributed system, spanning more than one machine, network partitions are not optional. Networks drop packets. Cables get cut. A data center loses power. Partitions will happen, whether you like it or not. So P isn't really a choice. You must tolerate partitions. Which means the real decision, the only decision, is what you do during a partition. And in that moment you can lean toward consistency or toward availability, but not both. Hold on to that. The trade-off only bites during a failure. When the network is healthy, you can absolutely have your data consistent and available at the same time. CAP is a statement about the bad day, not the good day. Let me give you the analogy that makes it stick. Think of two friends planning to meet, and they're using text messages to agree on a restaurant. As long as texts flow, they stay in sync, same plan, always reachable. But now imagine one friend's phone loses signal. If they insist on staying perfectly in sync, one of them has to freeze, refuse to commit to any restaurant until signal returns, because committing alone risks disagreeing. That's choosing consistency and paying with availability. Or, one friend just picks a restaurant and goes, staying available, decisive, but now they might have picked differently from each other. That's choosing availability and paying with consistency, they'll have to reconcile later. Same split, same impossible middle. Now, the honest caveat, because this is where mentors earn their keep. CAP is a simplification. It treats consistency as one strict thing, but real systems live on a spectrum. There are many shades between always perfectly current and eventually agrees. A refinement called Pasuk extends the idea and says, yes, during a partition you choose availability or consistency, but else, even when things are healthy, you're still trading between latency and consistency. Keeping every node in lockstep costs time on every single request, partition or not. So the trade-off never fully disappears, it just changes shape. Don't take CAP as gospel physics. Take it as a lens that forces you to ask the right question: what happens when the network breaks? Let's anchor this in systems you actually use. When you post a photo and a friend sees it a few seconds late, that's a system choosing availability. It answered you instantly and let the update ripple out. Cassandra and DynamoDB are built this way, they favor staying up and answering, accepting brief disagreement. That's fine for a like count or a feed. But now think about a bank transfer, or reserving the last seat on a flight. There you cannot tolerate two nodes disagreeing, double-selling that seat is a catastrophe. Systems like traditional relational databases, and coordination tools like Zookeeper, lean toward consistency, they'd rather refuse the request than risk a wrong answer. Notice the pattern: the right choice depends entirely on the cost of being wrong versus the cost of being unavailable. That's a business question wearing an engineering costume. Let's recap, and I want you to count these on your fingers. 1. CAP says consistency, availability, partition tolerance, pick 2. 2. But partitions are unavoidable in any real distributed system, so P is mandatory, not a choice. 3. Therefore the real decision is what you do during a partition, favor consistency or favor availability. 4. Consistency means every read is current, you pay by rejecting requests during a split. 5. Availability means you always get an answer, you pay by allowing temporary disagreement. 6. When the network is healthy, you can have both, and Paselk reminds you you're still trading consistency against latency. That's the whole thing. 6 points, 1 impossible middle. Now, 3 questions for you to answer out loud, right there in the car. First, in your own words, why is partition tolerance not really optional for a system running on more than one machine? Second, think of an app on your phone right now, is it choosing consistency or availability during a failure, and how can you tell? Third, the hard one, for a system you might build, a chat app, a ledger, a leaderboard, which would you sacrifice during a partition, and what does that decision cost your users? Sit with that last one. The answer is never it depends and then silence. The answer is it depends on this specific thing, and naming that thing is the whole skill. Drive safe. I'll see you in the next one.